I'm going to go ahead and get us started. Hopefully, you guys go ahead and make it in this time.
Yeah, hopefully.
Oh my gosh. This is awesome. Awesome sauce.
All right, we're in. How are you guys doing?
We're still waiting.
That's unfortunate. I don't know what to say about it. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Oh, Zap just joined. I think he totally killed us.
Oh no.
Zap.
All right.
I know for sure people tried to join before. I mean, the game is going, right?
Don't go back.
Phreak sticking to his triple iron strategy. That's quite risky in my opinion.
Because the game is up. I mean, we're totally...
Yeah. PB still kind of scouting around. Looks like he's going to settle for his all-time favorite scavenger. Interestingly enough, okay, there he goes. Taking the silicon carbon tile. We have a game on our hands now.
Yeah.
So let's just agree on something. This is like the tryout tourney. Next time we're going to have the tourney, we're going to do the invite friends only. This way, you know.
You know, rough edges and all that. It's just where we're at right now.
Definitely. Well, at least it eliminates some odds.
Mm-hmm. It is very, very interesting, Phreak going with the strategy of just developing a huge store of iron that he can later turn into steel. Not something I really... It's interesting. I'll hand it to him. It's an interesting thought, but I don't know what else to say about it besides that, because it's very risky. Risky that you're going to have trouble transitioning out of it appropriately. Let's see. PB had gone ahead and just simply secured the normal tiles, taken his carbon, taken his aluminum. He can expand whenever he wants. Phreak probably just developing a huge iron store. He's gone ahead and bought up the aluminum he's going to need for an expansion. And I imagine we'll see a steel transition before too long. Pirates did pop up. PB can't actually use these yet, but might be a bit concerned about them being used against him, so we'll just have to see what happens there. We're waiting. We're up to 10,000 on the Pirates now. 12,000 now for Pbhead. He's willing to spend 12k on this. Very aggressive. And back to Phreak for 14. They're being really indecisive.
Wow.
Everybody's waiting that full time to make this decision.
Yeah, it's hard to know how much... 14 seems like too much.
PB lets it go for 14 at the end of the day. It's just going to be on the aluminum.
Aluminum, yeah, he'll go for aluminum for sure.
And might catch some of the water as well, depending on exactly where that line is. But yeah, he's just stealing up some aluminum, which he didn't need right away, but certainly might be helpful later.
So PB got both the high water and the high aluminum.
Yep.
That's going to be...
Took the high aluminum, took the high water, took the medium aluminum as well.
Oh, he has both of them? The high and the medium?
Yep.
What's Dorian doing?
Well, he's sitting there still at level 1, developing up his nice little iron stockpile.
Oh,
so we'll see how that goes for him. Oh, and he immediately grabs up an underground nuke and nukes PB's carbon silicon tile. Totally understandable. Those are just trace amounts.
I like that move.
Reasonable thing to do in a lot of ways, but I'm still going to be very concerned about the actual amount of money he has left over after that. That's a very, very early nuke. Costs $4,000.
Well, I like Pbhead aggressively grabbing that medium aluminum. I mean, obviously he didn't really need it, but he's just going to sit on aluminum, I figure, for most of the game.
Yeah. PB, I believe, is also going ahead and building a wind turbine on a carbon tile over here. So
yep.
We'll see how that goes.
He's going to try to resource starve Dorian.
And certainly, another thing to consider is that carbon silicon, much better target for a nuke than something like an aluminum iron tile. Because carbon and silicon generally maintain their value much, much, much later into the game.
Sure. Yep.
And aren't quite that early start that aluminum iron tiles tend to be.
Yep.
The black market is online.
Phreak going to go ahead and take this low aluminum right next to PB's, in between actually PB's water and his medium aluminum. Not the tile I'd have taken, but it will potentially provide him with some adjacency bonuses if he decides a mutiny on aluminum is important in the future.
Yeah.
And it looks like he is also going to grab up the 2 low water tiles that would have given PB adjacency on his high water.
Yeah, I would have gone for something else there, because potentially at some point you might want to, well, I don't know. I don't know if you EMP all 3 of those things together, but it is a little tempting.
Yeah, it is a little tempting. Phreak also, I believe...
Did he just grab those 2 waters?
Has grabbed a mutiny and targeted PB with it. Yeah, he'd grabbed those 2 waters like we were discussing. He mutinied PB's power. PB's just building a little bit more power in response. And I believe PB purchased an extra claim in order to make that happen.
Yeah. I've been impressed by how quickly PB has been able to get claims out there for being on executive.
Well, he got off to a pretty decent start. All he's really needing to worry about is glass, and I believe he actually could upgrade. He could kind of finagle the resources to make that happen if he wanted to, but he's instead electing to kind of build up a good store of glass. What's even more interesting is that $24,000 claim that just went to Pbhead.
Wow.
That is very expensive.
That is impressive.
But Pbhead generally not too afraid of debt.
No, I know that. I knocked him out of a game a couple days ago based off of that.
Yep, that will happen to him sometimes.
Like I saw him dipping below 4, and I just went for him. And I don't know. I feel like people are not punishing people for going down early.
Interestingly enough, Phreak sending a solar panel all the way right next to PB's base and taking up a low silicon tile with it.
Now that's Dorian.
Yeah, that is a good way in a multiplayer game to get yourself knocked out real fast by a strong player, let me tell you.
I must be honest, I'm very happy that PB jumped in. Because Dorian must have been thinking, like, oh, this is the online community.
Oh, I'd like to see him buy up a share of Pbhead if he could right now.
Man, he's going really, really hard on that black market, dynamiting a water pump, in fact, which I'm really not sure
Don't know about that.
It does cut into the resources a little bit, but realistically, that water pump would only be making probably about $40 to $50 a second at most, given current power price.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not going to cost that much to repair, just aluminum and carbon, which Pbhead certainly has plenty of this game.
Ooh, who's causing me?
Expansive colony expanded.
Yeah, I much would rather see if he hadn't claimed there, he could have EMP'd those spots instead, which would be just as effective.
Mm-hmm. Could have knocked it out for a significant period of time. I don't really mind the water, getting in his face with those claims that much, partially just because water is so sparse on this map. There's really not a lot of it to be had. And so securing those claims, securing away the adjacency bonuses from the high water tile in particular could be quite valuable. But it does leave a few issues. Oh, very unfortunate for Pbhead. Actually an aluminum surplus. And he knew about it ahead of time, so he was probably able to dump what he could. And he's certainly making good use of it by making sure he's upgrading while aluminum is this short. So paying almost nothing for hundreds and hundreds of aluminum right now.
Yeah, Phreak really should buy up aluminum right now. I don't know. He should be selling his water, buying up aluminum.
With a very, very, very early Pleasure Dome, going ahead and making himself a good $5 a second with that tile.
He sees the price of energy, doesn't he?
This is just a thing that's been happening with people from the office. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I don't think the Mohawk players appreciate yet that the Pleasure Dome costs a full unit of power.
Costs a full power, yeah.
Oh.
Now, it's not going to be a bad decision moving forward, probably, but it was a bit early to get it down. Power's almost certainly going to be dropping. I think we have 3 solar panels and 3 wind turbines on this map, so power's not going to stay where it is for very long.
But even then, in a 2-player game, the Pleasure Dome is only going to get so high.
Exactly. And now, $100 a second on a single tile is not much to sneeze at, because that's what we're sitting at right now for the actual Pleasure Dome value. So once power drops down, maybe that tile will be worthwhile. On the other hand, what else could it have been? It could have been a hack array. It could have been a patent lab. It could have been a farm.
Could have been power.
Yeah. Could have been power. Nighttime's gone ahead and come. And one thing that's really, really interesting is that despite the fact that PB has 3 wind turbines up, once that solar power of Phreaks gets knocked down, power actually starts going back up in price because PB's only feeding in a little over 1 unit right now. So he's making a decent amount of money, and that's going to go ahead and stay high if PB decides to do something like knock out Phreak's power during the day.
Yeah.
Which, frankly, we're talking about PB. He probably will.
Yeah.
I am kind of concerned about PB's debt, especially because it's going to be having a dramatic effect on his stock price.
Now what's he at? How much does he have?
He's at 63,000 debt. So this power is paying it off, but very, very slowly.
Well, he's going to get 6,000 more debt when he gets the interest.
Yeah. And Phreak has decided to knock out his power right as day hit. Definitely a good timing on it. Would like to see something like that from PB. I wonder if he's just having trouble scrounging up the money for those more expensive black market effects. that he has to deal with because he went ahead and got cocky and put himself on executive.
Too much.
We'll see what happens, though. Phreak, I don't know how much money he's actually going to be pulling in. He's secured some decent tiles. He can make some steel. That's going to be making a little money. Most of his money is going to be coming from these solar panels right now. But for now, he can't use that to actually buy PB because he still has all this debt.
What do you think about PB's lone farm?
That lone farm will likely soon have some friends to clean itself up. It's making money, right?
Yeah.
I mean, food's insanely expensive. I think he can get away with going ahead and planting it and waiting for the ability to get those adjacency bonuses rolling in.
Well, water. It's looking better now. Water was around 30, and then power was over 100. So
yeah, but the thing you got to remember right now is the primary place Phreak's actually pulling in cash he can use is with his water. And so water's not going to stay high all that long right now.
Yeah,
there's not a lot of consumption going on. And he has to keep feeding it into the market because of the choices he's made this game.
Food is the future at this point, basically. It's going to be what's happening in minutes here.
Well, food and glass is looking very, very valuable. I would not be surprised to see PB especially make a strong transition from reactors to glass furnaces before too terribly long. He's had those reactors running for a very, very long time. He got them up very, very early. And neither of them are doing a lot of transporting of resources. Everybody's taking tiles that are fairly close to their base. So we'll just have to see what happens there. Phreak also has a single reactor up and a single glass furnace up. I think that reactor might actually be losing money, very similar to the Pleasure Dome right now. But we'll just kind of have to see what happens. Claim auction going to Phreak for 16,000, far more reasonable price than the 24 we saw before, but still pretty expensive, all things considered.
Well, I'm sure that this game is going to be a win-win. They're both going to learn a huge lesson. PB will not go exact with the Phreak again. And the Phreak will understand the gaming community better.
Well, I'm really surprised he hasn't figured out a way to buy at least one share of Pbhead stock.
He should.
He likes to buy stock early to sort of mess with people, and
he's not doing it now.
I think he's just scared being 2 levels behind PB. That's a dangerous place to be. But PB's a level 5 with a $4.35 stock price.
Yeah, well, I'm very concerned about the fact that PB still has these reactors running and hasn't turned them into something like glass furnaces yet, which would be making him a ridiculous amount of money. Okay, here we go.
Well,
2 glass furnaces coming down.
Everyone needs to. A lot of people don't realize reactors consume more power than most buildings.
Oh yeah, 0.3 power, same as steel mills right now. That is a lot of power going into those reactors. That's why I'm so concerned about the fact that Phreak is actually transitioning into them right now. Yeah. He's put down 2 fairly recently. Water's sitting about 25. The reactors, oxygen at 34, fuel at 25. Those aren't making money. Period.
Yep. Yeah, they're both. If either one of the transitions away from reactors, I think they would have a shot here.
Yeah, PB actually got rid of 1 reactor. He went ahead and put down a silicon quarry with it, and he has 2 glass furnaces up, which should be able to make him some amount of money. He has those farms up. They're frozen, so they're not doing anything for him right now, but they will be available before too long.
Definitely good power surge by Dorian.
Another thing worth noting is that PB is sitting on a huge amount of aluminum, and so he's gone ahead and transitioned his aluminum tiles into food, and he's not selling that aluminum. He's not letting Phreak have that low aluminum price, and that forced Phreak to transition his aluminum tile back into an actual aluminum mine, whereas I think it might have been sitting on power for some time.
Yeah, I like that.
PB also with a very strong mutiny onto the silicon tile that Phreak took next to his base. Certainly a risk of doing something like that. His PB was able to very easily secure that tile for himself to try and get some adjacency bonuses, but Phreak hits right back with an EMP and knocks out almost all of PB's buildings for a significant period of time.
Both players had a sub 5 stock price for a little bit there.
Yep.
They're really going hard into the debt in this game.
Phreak's is coming back up now that he has a good amount of power online. Now that it's daytime, but
yeah, Layla was asking what's the hacker array?
The hacker array from PB, I imagine, will be aluminum. Food. It's food. Very, very clear decision there on hacking food. For a number of reasons, but
he doesn't actually have food right now.
He does. He still has 2 food production.
You can click on his hacker array.
Maybe on 10 seconds. Oh, okay. I see the food now.
Yeah, PB has his food sitting on those aluminum tiles that hopefully he will have the presence of mind to send.
Yeah, no, I see. They just haven't shipped yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's not sitting on any food right now, but hopefully those will ship before too terribly long. And either way, he's going to be in a strong position.
Right.
Oh man, 10,000.
Because he'll have food eventually. Phreak can't
Yep.
keep it up forever.
No. Phreak has no food production right now?
Phreak has no food production right now. That's going to be
huge
very difficult.
problem.
No, he has one food tile, but he can't actually use it because all of that food it's producing is going toward just paying his colony's price. So he's not actually developing a stockpile.
Right.
Let's see. That EMP has faded away at this point,
Yeah.
and actually, it looks like an underground nuke was selected rather than something like a power surge, which is what I probably would have gone with.
Yeah, I would have hit that food again.
And I'm not sure. Oh, perhaps
The
maybe the
black
nuke went on to
market is
Phreak.
online.
Might have hit Phreak's iron tile. Might have been PB's nuke.
Mhm.
Hard to tell a little bit with this particular interface, but I think that's what happened.
No, that pleasure dome has really not worked out.
Nope, that pleasure dome has been a terrible decision the whole time.
He needs to delete that whole
We
wing
called the
there.
dirty
The
rat
pleasure
to
dome,
break
the
out stuff.
both reactors, put
Just
up farms there, he'd have a
Very
shot.
bad decisions. Worth noting, PB sitting on 300 food at $300 a piece. And he is being patient about it. He's not rushing this. He knows he's in a strong spot. He knows his stock price is higher. He knows Phreak is getting himself in all kinds of trouble. He's just going to sit there, let it happen, hack food more.
Yep.
Doesn't care. Very PB type of thing to do, realistically.
Right.
Surplus on the oxygen, that's just going to hurt Phreak even more. PB is going to be quite satisfied with his glass furnaces in response to that. Just making all kinds of money. But where it's at right now, let's be honest, where it's at is food.
Yep.
And I don't know what Phreak can do from here, if I'm honest. He's still on HQ level 3. He never got those upgrades rolling out. He's completely out of that iron stockpile that he developed early, and PB's finally decided to go ahead and start making his move with everything that isn't food. He's saving his food, but he's starting to do things like sell off some glass, got some
He
aluminum
could-
from his
He
stockpile.
could
He's
end
just
the
picking
game.
pokes.
And
Oh, he
now,
probably could.
if
Like,
he
there's
could
no
just sell his
question.
food, it's over, basically.
Yeah, as soon as he decides to actually sell his food, he's being patient, he's waiting it out, he's securing it with this double short. But, oh, this is funny, a virtual reality popped up. I mean, look, if this had appeared 3 days ago, Phreak wouldn't have been losing as much money on the Pleasure Dome. I think, like right now, I think he would sit at a profit of a good $6 if he gets this patent, so it'll be worth that 12,000 debt. Oh, $4. Sorry.
Our hackers have compromised the
3,
trading servers.
2.
He needs to upgrade his colony so he gets a little bit more profit from that.
That's what he needed to do so long ago, but let's be honest, glass was so expensive and he didn't jump on that. PB, you could tell ahead of time, each time he was going for that upgrade, he developed a stockpile of glass first. He knew it was up. He was trying to get that glass while it was cheap. Phreak, not so much.
Yep.
Well, the mutiny came down on the hacker array, but let's be honest, that's too late. What does Phreak want to go ahead and try and hack? He's trying to surplus food right now, but he doesn't realize this game's already over.
Yeah.
PB can make that sell whenever he wants to. And even something like a surplus isn't going to hit him very hard. Ha! I love this move from PB. I love doing that myself. Goes ahead,
Did he-
dynamites the hacker array to show his own dominance,
Nice.
and then finishes the buyout. So yeah, Phreak, welcome to the real world.
Jeez. Well, at least he tried to grab the hacker array. That was, you know.
Oh my. Let's get them both on Skype and see what they have to say.
All right. We only have a few minutes because Josh is scheduled to go at 10. So we'll
Yeah.
kind of, with Chump is scheduled to go at 10, so we'll transition over to that.
Sounds good. Oh yeah, we only got like 2-3 minutes till then, but oh well.
Where is Baby?
What's up? How you doing?
Hey, how's it going?
Game.
It's good.
Welcome to the online world.
Well, I don't understand how he was making his oxygen because he had no hydrolysis reactors.
Yeah, he did.
He had reactors
3
for quite a while.
reactors for quite some time.
He shouldn't have. No one should have. They were all basically money losers.
Hold on. Let me where were the reactors on his out?
One was on his silicon tile, and then one was on his water tile that's right next to his base, and then the other one was adjacent to those.
Oh, I'm talking about when he had first started. Yeah, I know. Like in the mid part of the game, he had put hydrolysis reactors there. But when he was upgrading and buying glass on the market, and then he had 4 glass manufacturers, I don't think he had hydrolysis reactors at that point.
No, he didn't.
Definitely had.
But those came after he had the reactors up already.
I'm actually gonna call him right now so you can talk to him you can talk to him directly.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
if
yeah,
PB's around.
Yeah, PB's around. He must be jumping of joy, being exec and winning over one of the devs right
You
now.
could tell he was struggling with that executive. He was a lot slower than usual this game.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there a replay of the game?
Yeah, I've got it recorded, actually. It's going to be available through my past broadcast. It's going to be available elsewhere. I don't think we actually have a replay file, if that's what you're after.
Okay.
But
Greetings. Can you
you'll
hear
be
me?
able to see it.
Hey, PB, congrats.
Hello.
Hey, good game, man. Oh.
And I thought I did badly.
You did do
Well, you
badly.
did-
We both know it. It's fine.
Yeah.
You did good enough. I mean, in a 2-player game, you just have to do slightly better than the other person.
It's true.
And I got jacked. Like I got behind the silicon curve.
Yeah. There is no silicon, and I saw you going for those 2 tiles, and I got one.
Yeah.
Or you did. You got the other one.
Yeah, that auction, I was like, I'm going to make him pay because I think he knows what's going on. So, do you have visual insight when I'm claiming a tile? Does that pop up for you?
There's a little flaggy thing that goes across the map.
Yeah. Okay.
And you can
Yeah,
take a
you know.
guess, basically, from there.
Yeah, you could.
That little flaggy's going in that direction, and there's a
And
high
that's the
silicon
important tile there,
There's
so...
there's a high water tile right there, so I better go claim it first.
Yeah, that was good. I liked the back and forth. I like the fact that you blew up your hacker array.
Well, yes,
I'm like,
of course.
that's a beautiful thing.
It's
Yeah.
hilarious.
Oh, he loves. Dorian appreciates these.
I've done that, in a legitimate game. I have blown up my own hacker array or Offworld because someone mutinied
I think
it.
we've both done that to each
In the
other
past.
before.
Oh,
quite
just to
frankly.
let you know, those gifts are brought to you by things I've done to Soren. I'm like, Soren, why can't I blow up my mutinied off-road market? You don't understand. And he's like, why would anyone ever do that? And I'm
It's
like,
true. It's
I
true.
do that.
It used to not work. It just like I was like, no one would ever do that. That's dumb. And I was like, well, maybe there is some bizarre situation where that's what you want to do. So go at it. I mean, that stuff is hilarious if it does happen.
And if the price to mutiny it back is so much higher than the cost to,
Rebuild it.
blow it up,
Yeah,
and if you don't feel like using it again, in this case I was, done with my hacker array, I didn't need to use it again, I might as well, keep them from, what were you going to use with it? Surplus the food, or?
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it was a
I
food
had
surplus.
2 in store. Yeah.
Yeah. So Dorian, you created a monster. You decided to do this, and it was done to you.
Well, here's the ultimate.
Oh,
If I was
wow.
playing as I would have, if I could have gotten access to the black market, I would have tried to prevent. I would have put a little shield on the guy, a goon squad. So like I would have stolen it, put a goon squad on it to catch your sabotage on your own thing.
Yeah, I've heard about you doing that before, and I think that works. That can work really well. Like if there's 4 players and all fighting over a geothermal or something.
Yep.
Because I've seen geothermal get mutinied like 4 or 5 times in a row, just one after another, because people know, hey, it's a
I've
mutiny,
done
it's
that.
undefended.
Yep.
But while we're talking about power, your pleasure dome
Power.
was losing you money the
Pleasure
entire
Dome!
bloody
Oh, man.
game.
Pleasure dome.
That was terrible. That
Yeah.
was really
That was a
terrible.
terrible
Interesting.
idea.
That Pleasure Dome was awful.
Killed you.
Just
Why
to
is
put
it
it
so
bluntly,
terrible? Why
Because
was
It uses
a
one
one-
power.
So if power is more than what you get from the Pleasure Dome, it's a loser, and it needs to be way more than what the cost of power.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
It's a simple calculation because it's just 1 unit of power.
Okay.
All the advanced buildings use, I think, 1 unit of power when they're active, and the Pleasure Dome is always active. So.
Yeah, my comment was basically that, well, you paid $12,000, I think it was, in debt for virtual reality, and that bumped your Pleasure Dome up to about a profit of $3 per second.
That's amazing. Okay.
So while you're here, Dorian, I was telling Zoltar that your current opinion is that the bribe claim is overpowered on the black market.
I believe so. Just because if you play or I don't know if you guys believe that or not, but like if you play the AI, you're going to want to grab all of those, and the AI definitely weights them heavy, the bribe claim. But it doesn't look like Pbhead actually got many claims. You just
About 2.
upgraded. Okay. And there's a lot of stuff that we do in the game where we try to prevent the black market from opening up at a certain point in time. Like we have all of these little bonuses, or like it seems like we've done a lot of exercises to try to make sure that the black market opens up at the right time for the right people. But if there weren't a claim at stake, I feel like you'd open up the black market for everyone at the same time, and it wouldn't even matter.
At the start of the game, there's no question that that claim is generally the most highly valued thing just because it is so terribly cheap.
Yep.
But once it gets a bit later, like I have seen expansive players, very, very strong expansive players, just completely ignore that new claim all game. So they'll get founded right away. Claim's already like 5, 7, 10,000 by the time they actually get access to it, and they'll just ignore it for the whole rest of the game, not caring at all.
It's also harder for me to use the black market because
You were executive.
on the higher difficulty level, it costs more.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.